this opening round of the 2017 series, which will travel around Europe, starting in Silverstone, then Monza in Italy next month in May, then the Red Bull Ring in summer, in July in Austria, Le Castellet in August, before we round off the season with Spa, and then Portimao, another addition to, or a reintroduction to Le Mans Series racing to complete the season in Portugal.
And as you have seen there, Graham, a fantastic series that we've got ahead of the year. Great championship, but great circuits as well. You know, the classic circuits, the ones with history, the ones where history will be made, and we will look back on 2017 in 2037 and go, hey, do you know what, do you remember those cars from 2017? They were cool, because they are cool.
It's been a big part of the rebuilding job that's been done from some dark days not that long ago in the European Le Mans Series, but now we're back. Classic tracks, classic cars, classic teams, Aston Martin amongst them, and you can see the fabulously liveried TF Sport car. This is a team stepping up from the championship win last year in the Michelin GT3 Le Mans Cup as it was last year, renamed this year. We'll talk about that a little more when we get to round 2 of the European Le Mans Series, where the GT3 and LMP3 series kicks off. Here's the number 55, the Ferrari 488 GTE, the deep green and matte white car of Duncan Cameron and Matt Griffin and Aaron Scott. Striking
colours, aren't they? Stand out, actually.
Very British, and that crew well worth a watch, because it'll be triple duty this weekend for Matt Griffin with the WEC and the British GT Championship, double duty for Duncan Cameron. There, the other Ferrari 488, this is the first time we've seen the turbo-powered Ferrari in ELMS competition. This is the 51 car of his father and son, Roda. And Gianluca Roda, Andrea Roda have been strong parts of the endurance family for the last many years.
Moving on, we go from Italy a little bit further north to Germany. Here is the Proton competition number 77 RSR. Reed, Camathias and Cairoli. Strong lineup there. Reed, of course, no fool to endurance racing. He's going to be double dutying. I was going to say double stinting, but you know what I mean, with a World Endurance Championship in the other paddock here at Silverstone over towards the wing. So we've got the German, we've got the Swiss, and then the Italian with Cairoli, who you were telling me earlier, Graham, is a bit of a star for the future.
He's Porsche Junior driver, from a young start to, well, the old lady, and it's great to see her here, the number 66 JMW Motorsport, number 66 is Ferrari 458 GTE, highly unusual now on the world stage, the screaming normally aspirated V8 against the relative whisper of the twin-turbo powered V8 in the new 488, but that car really came very close indeed to taking the title last year. Were terribly unlucky at the last race of the season at Estoril, but I'm sure we'll be in amongst it with a new look driving squad. And there, the defending champions.
The Beach Dean AMR car, all British lineup that we've got in this car. Darren Turner, he's double dutying together with Gunn and Howard, and as you say, the reigning champions car, and the familiar colour scheme, one should say, with the Beach Dean sponsorship down the side of that car, a faithful sponsor to endurance racing on the European and British scene as well. So, just to recap, we've got 6 cars in this class here for the qualifying session. In this morning's free practice, it was that Beach Dean Aston Martin that was quickest, but only by 0.03 of a second. Just to recap on the series, that we've got 6 races. We're kicking off here this weekend at Silverstone before a month's time at Monza, where we had our World Endurance Championship prologue. The Red Bull Ring in the heart of Styria in Austria, and then Le Castellet, and then finishing off with Portimao as well at the end of the season. So 6 races, and this is going to be our first weekend.
24 hours of racing, an appropriate total for the European Le Mans Series, with many of these teams focused this season and in the future on the Le Mans 24 Hours, of course. It's a stepping stone towards the global stage for many of them. Crowds are coming this early in the weekend. It's not been particularly brilliant weather, I'm afraid. It's been quite cold here, but weather looking better. 3 sectors to this track as normal, and we'll keep you posted as the cars put in their quick lap times, Toby.
And even though the pits for the European Le Mans Championship are in the traditional older pits down towards Copse Corner, the timing will actually start on the exit of Club, as we know it, near to the wing that was opened in 2011. So then, it is the quickest car that we've had here so far this weekend. This morning. The Beech Dean Aston Martin, that did a 2:05 lap around here this morning. He's first out on the racetrack. Now, yesterday, it was a little bit warmer by a couple of degrees, and we saw a 1:58.7 from the TF Sport Aston Martin, so 1.3 seconds quicker. But now we're getting into qualifying spec, as it were, with the mindset of these drivers. 10-minute session, time ticking down, as you can see, as they come down the hangar straight. There's nothing like the feel of competition. You can do thousands of kilometres of testing and practice, but there's nothing like the actual thrill of the race.
Now, interesting choice of driver by the look of things at Beech Dean AMR. Ross Gunn appears to be out there and on qualifying duty rather than, Darren Turner, you might imagine, would have been the option taken, but I know they're keen to actually expose Ross Gunn to as much of the real world pressure of the sharp end as they possibly can. Reigning champion, WC champion, Nicky Team is aboard the number 90 TF Sport car. Keep an eye out here too for something very unusual, in fact unique, we've got in World Motorsports at the moment, in GTE racing. This is the first time we've seen in competitive terms on track GTE cars from both the 2015 era, there's one of them, and the 2016 era, both the Aston Martins, both the Ferrari 488s, 2016 spec GTE cars, the Ferrari 458 and the Porsche 2015 spec cars. And that's going to be an interesting balance of performance task for the race officials to actually manage, not just here in qualifying, but across the rest of the season.
And you can hear that this is a 458, no turbochargers lurking in the back of that car as it howls its way out of Club Corner going up towards the quick right-hander with the bump in it that always causes a few problems for a few people, uses all of the road and then some. And as the lap time starts to get posted, as I said, there's only 6 cars on the racetrack as opposed to the 17 that we will have in the LMP3 session and the 12 we will have in the LMP2 session. So they have got 3.6 miles all to themselves.
So we've only got 6. Let's just do a quick rundown of the 6 runners and riders here. Andrea Bertolini, who was in this car, the number 66 JMW Motorsport Ferrari last year, this year is aboard the number 51 Spirit of Race, run by Eve Corsa, but under their Spirit of Race brand. Andrea Bertolini's out the number 51 car, the 51 Ferrari 488. In the number 55, the sister Spirit of Race car, the green and white car, you'll see Matt Griffin, the Irish driver, takes to the track in that car. Rory Butcher is aboard the number 66 car. Rory elevated to a gold driver this year by the FI rankings, but is kept as he wiggles under braking into Copse there. Keeps the car on the island though, but Rory has been entrusted with this car still as a gold driver. Matteo Caroli, we said, aboard the Proton competition Porsche 911 RSR, the 2015 spec car, and almost off the track again there. Rory's fighting this car around to get the best he possibly can. So Matteo Caroli in the 77 Porsche, Nicky Team in the 90, the TF Sports Aston Martin, Ross Gunn in the 99 Beech Dean AMR car.
Under the bridge, under the camera, down the hangar straight. Look at that view as they charge on down to Stowe Corner. The yellow lights reflecting in the Silverstone tarmac, down a couple of gears. Holds it tight. And now rushes down the hill, uses all of the curb. How late can he leave his braking before he stands on the anchors to go into the left-hander at Club? The left and then the right that opens out, hugging that curb. Little bit of opposite lock, little bit of a drift. Gets it all on the, doesn't go too wide. So the lap time about to come up, and that is a 2:01.4 for the JMW Motorsport 458 Ferrari. Here is the 488 Ferrari. It's the turbocharged one that Graham was telling you a moment ago is the one from last year. This is the 55 car coming over the line. Matt Griffin at the wheel, 2:04 to beat, and he has done it with a 2:04.069.
No, he's not. Sorry, it's 2:01, 2:04, 2:01, 4:72 from Rory Butcher, 2:04 from Matt. And I wonder whether or not that car is just taking a little while to actually warm up its tyres. One quick point there, by the way, in the European Le Mans Series, it's a spec Dunlop tyre. So all these cars on Dunlop rubber, you'll be seeing when we see the WEC field later, a bit of a mix between Dunlop and Michelin. But here in the European Le Mans Series, it is all Dunlop rubber. It's all part of actually keeping the cost down for these teams. if Matt's going to pull the lap out, it's going to be here on in, because it's going to take a little bit of time. But that looked to me to be a pretty wild ride for Rory Butcher. It proved to be that, a pretty good lap from him, but it's already been beaten by the other Ferrari. The 51 of Andrea Bertolini goes through in a 2 minutes, 0.600, Toby.
2 minutes dead, 0.6. And now another lap time being kicked off as he comes over the line. The Aston Martin does that lap time. Beautiful, beautiful as it rattles its way up through, and a 1:58, yes, so we've broken 2 minutes for the first time here today. We had a 1:58.7 in free practice yesterday and a 1:58.2, so that's best time of the weekend.
Let's wait and see whether or not that's representative across the field, because that absolutely blitzes the times of the other cars there. Up into second fastest as we wait for Ross Gunn's second attempt here. Matteo Caroli goes through, but almost 2.3 seconds off that astonishing time from Nicky Team. 3 purple sectors, and he's straight back on it again this time around. The number 90 TF Sports Aston Martin goes through onto provisional pole position. Here comes Ross Gunn.
A little bit slower on a 1:58.4, just 0.2 of a second off the current pole position. But 3.25 minutes remaining.
Yeah, but for a young man in his first GTE run here with the Beech Dean AMR, to come 2/10 of a second in qualifying back from a reigning world champion effectively, it's no mean feat. He's done that very well indeed. He knows this circuit very well indeed, and he wants to bring it back for Andrew Howard and the Beech Dean AMR team in defence of this championship. So Aston Martin need Aston Martin. Then Matt Griffin goes through. He's under 2 minutes as well now, but still almost, just over 1.5 seconds off the provisional pole position.
Catching up with the Proton Porsche as it comes through Maggots and Beckett's, then through Chapel Curve, little bit of suspension pump as it comes through the right-hander, and now bit of a break, but not for long, down that hanger straight into Stowe Corner. Time to beat still Nicky Team, 1:58.269. Best time of the weekend so far. Last year's qualifying was unrepresentative. It wasn't just raining. You may remember it was as good as snowing here 12 months ago. So we can't really look back on last year, but it was the Aston that took the GTE pole position, the number 96, 12 months ago. Meanwhile, he crosses the line. And the Porsche 77 with Cairoli does improve in time. He's 4.
He's 4th. It improves to a 2 minutes, 0.379. Doesn't trouble the 3 cars ahead. This car, meanwhile, has lost a lap time with track limits turn 18 on the left-hand side. So Rory Butcher is battling away. 2:01.472, his best shot so far. He'll get this one and one more.
2 minutes, 0.9 for him. So he's 6th at the moment.
Improves his time but not position. Pretty car, that number 66 car, and still sounds absolutely astonishing. At the prologue test just a couple of weeks ago, Toby, after a red flag, the car went out. Nobody else was sat on pit lane. You could hear the thing all the way around the Royal Park. Fabulous sound.
It's the old story. You only appreciate something when it's gone.
When it's gone.
But it's still here.
And Matt Griffin, meanwhile, is another one who has lost a lap time. Now, is that his quickest? We'll wait and see. At the moment, Matt sits 1:59.865.
So as you can see, it's Team with the Aston Martin, Gunn with the Aston Martin. They are 1 and 2 at the moment. Matt Griffin's Ferrari, that's 3rd. Cairoli's Porsche is in 4th, and then Bertolini and Butcher 5th and 6th as we speak. Time ticking away, 60 seconds remains.
It does go spool through very quickly, doesn't it? This is Andrea Bertolini. We've seen his old car from last year. This is his new car from this year. And the 51 Spirit of Race car coming round to see what they can do about bettering 5th position. 50 seconds to go. Rory Butcher pits the 66 car. They're not going to improve from 6th, but will the wily old fox Andrea Bertolini? He was a class act last year aboard the JMW 458. What can he do with this turbo-powered 51 car?
Difficult corner into the complex there. The apex is so late, then you've got to wait. Your brain is running at 1,000 frames per second. That hairpin that takes you on to Woodcote coming out of Luffield just seems to take forever, but already he's over the old pit straight grid. and all you can see is Copse Corner. How quick can you go? It's a little bit off camber. Time ticking away. Flag will come out. It's his last opportunity to improve.
He's improved in the first sector over his best time. There's certainly places to pick up here for Andrea Bertolini.
A little bit of a wiggle there, a little bit of a wiggle. Soaring away at the wheel, swatting flies inside that car he is with that steering wheel. Now he gets it all wound up. Just the last part of the circuit to do. Time to beat 158.2. Can't see that happening, but you never know.
Yeah, Matt Griffin does improve, so even though he's lost an earlier lap time, he's improved over that time. Stays third though. Aston Martin 1-2. 158s for both of those cars. In the 159s for Matt Griffin, I'm sure we'll have some things to say about some balance of performance concerns here. We wait to see whether or not Andrea Bertolini can leapfrog the Porsche that has finished its run at the moment fourth. Bertolini, the last man out there. Can he improve?
One more corner to go. Quickest time is a 2 minutes 0.6. He crosses the line and does a 2 minutes 0.5, so he improves in time, but unfortunately for him, not a position by a couple of tenths of a second. That was all it was, but at the end of the day, it has been the number 90 TF Sport Aston Martin Vantage that has taken pole position here today for the opening round of the 2017 European Le Mans Championship.
So big smiles. That Sally Yullock there is in the garage at TF Sports, the man that brought home the Michelin Le Mans Cup last year. And they look very happy indeed with their efforts, but there will be some questions asked, I think, about the scope of those times. There's a big spread for those six cars, 2.6 seconds across them. There's some work to be done by these teams, unlocking what they can from the packages they've got. 2016 Aston Martin's first and second, 2016 Ferrari third, 2015 Porsche leads another 2016 Ferrari, and then the Ferrari 458.
But might it be a case of some of the runners a little bit further down, Graham, playing it safe, opening race, opening day, one could argue? Don't want to do anything silly?
Safe is one word, and you know, beyond that, is there a little bit of sandbagging going on? We'll find out as the season kind of pans out. At the moment, these are the opening blows, if you like, with a quick shot there in the garage of the race engineer Ricky Martino with Ewan Hankey, with Nicky Team, and with slightly resigned expressions there as the Ferrari guys come back in. It's TF Sport delighted with their efforts. So they move from a season last year where they took two major titles, the Michelin Le Mans Cup and the British GT Championship, up to GTE, and it's going to be down in just a few moments with Charlie and with a very happy Nicky Team.
Yeah, I'm down here at TF Sport, very happy drivers here. Nicky, if we can grab a quick word with you. A blistering lap there. The Aston's looking very strong here at Silverstone.
Yeah, home circuit. We should be strong here. No, it's great to be in the ELMS. It's a different story. Honor for me to be trying a different championship, and with a new team, good team spirit. We already see that everyone is happy and having a good time. So, yeah, looking forward for the race tomorrow, and yeah, enjoy the show.
A great start. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Nicky Team, GTE rockstar these days, did fantastic work last year at the wheel of the Dane train, Danish Dynamite, the number 95 Aston Martin in the FIWEC. And as the LMP3 cars start to form up, and that's the RLRM Sport car, the Hans Valks Capadia 15 car, the lead of the queue. I expect great things from him in both the WEC and the ELMS this season. I think we're going to see Nicky with that trademark smile, as well as a trademark haircut, quite a lot.
We're only jealous, Graham, come on. We're only jealous. Now then, we are getting into, as Graham said, the LMP3 class, so a little bit more downforce, one could say.
Just a touch.
Just a touch, as we have these... the spread of Ligiers and a duo of Normas.
And there's the first of them, the number 19 car. This is the M Racing Weimar. It's Ivan Muller's team. One Ligier as an
Goodness
auto-gyro.
me, James Bond is coming in.
It's an auto-gyro, dear me.
When was the last time you saw an auto-gyro just dropping into a qualifying session?
Well, I do wonder if that possibly is well-known auto-gyro instructor pilot and ex-British touring car driver Phil Bennett. It could well be, but
I don't know what's more dangerous,
an
being in a
ex-sports
touring car
car
grid or on a auto-gyro. Anyway,
this is the Inter-Europol car, and another of the Ligiers. Polish Bakery is Inter-Europol, an industrial bakery, and known to very many people. Trackside is the Norwich City car for obvious reasons, but a very eye-catching look to it. There's some very good liveries. The very good liveries on these Ligiers. That is the Bolton-based team RLRM Sport. The yellow helmet is Alex Kapadia.
Isn't it wonderful nowadays, Graham, that we've got this plethora of Ligiers in a British Championship, a European Championship, gave Chris Hoy a springboard to get to Le Mans and race at Le Mans, and technology by definition gets easier to access, cheaper to purchase, and you wouldn't have dreamt that you could purchase a car and drive it in a series such as the European Le Mans series 10 years ago, such as this. I mean, they are from the moon if you'd had a conversation 10 years ago.
Remember, you can race these cars at Le Mans. There will be the two Road to Le Mans races, one on Thursday, one on the race morning for the Le Mans 24 Hours as part of the Sport Championship for the European Le Mans Series, but very many of the LMS teams will opt to take these cars there. It is a grid not exclusively, as we said, populated by the Ligiers this year. There's the number 17 Ultimate car, beautifully liveried, cherry red foiled livery on that car. This is the second of the Normas, the number 10 car. This is the Oregon team car, their unique colour scheme, multicoloured. Moving from the now, I'm afraid, defunct Renault Sport Trophy with the fabulous Renault RS01s last year to the European Le Mans Series with the new Norma M30.
So, 17 cars about to go out on the racetrack. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever of them lined up at the end of the pit lane. Others opting to say, do you know what, I'll let them go, I'll stay on the jacks, the tyres are still in the warmers back at the garage. Tyre temperature will be decreasing second by second here as these cars sit at the end of the pit lane. Ambient temperature, 10 degrees maximum.
Yes, it's cold.
It will be dropping like a stone. The carcass will have no real temperature in it, say. So, devil you do, devil you don't. What do you do?
Well, what you do is try and get some heat in those tyres, and the other quick point here is, whilst we had spec Dunlop rubber for the GTs, it's spec Michelin rubber, because there's a Michelin man bend there on the rear bodywork of that Ligier. But you try to get as much heat as you possibly can into the tyres. This could be pretty wild and woolly over the next few minutes. Lots and lots of new cars, new teams, new drivers, and this matters. This is a European Championship. This is not your Saturday afternoon clubby. This is a European Championship. These guys are looking to step up the ladder, and very many of these teams, this is the business model they have chosen to build something special here. These are the teams that want to be here next year or the year after in an LMP2 car in Europe, or indeed stepping up to LMP2 in the FI World Endurance Championship. This is a step ladder to something very special indeed, and this really matters. There's the business end.
And that is a very a cool view from inside a fully carbon fibered up titanium big fat slick tyres prototype. I mean, they are just uber cool. That is a superb shot.
Isn't it just crystal clear? This is the 360 Racing team, another UK-based team coming out of Radical Racing. And what you're looking at there through the windscreen, this is a carbon fibre tub with a steel roll cage. So it's unlike the LMP2 cars we'll see, which are full carbon monocoque. Again, this is to keep the cost of these cars down. Big Nissan V8 in the back of this car with something over 400 brake horsepower. It is a very sophisticated race car, but it's engineered down to a price. So carbon fibre tub, steel roll hoop, coupe body, lots of bang for very little buck.
And already he's got a bit of a lick on as he goes down the hanger straight. Now here is option B, which is put your tyres on late, having kept them in the blankets in the oven for as long as possible, whilst that United Autosports car is already coming around to do half a lap as it starts to break the beam for the first time.
That is Sean Rahal. He was the quickest at the prologue test at Monza. American racer, very used to racing small prototypes in the USA. Alex Kapadia has let him go as Rahal grabs a bit of dust and it asks Alex Kapadia to eat his dust. A race has broken out.
And with a 10-minute session, you cannot afford to just let off and think, I've got an opportunity. Did it porpoise a bit on the way in and mid-corner and that push him wide? Did he have enough heat in the tyres? Well, he's lucky that he got away with that one. Haven't seen so much since I was on the Dakar.
Yeah, and Alex Kapadia giving a bit of a flash there. But that won't have done the tyres very much good at all. It's not going to aid grip, and slides a little bit wide again there. A little bit of understeer from the number 2 car. Championship winning car from last year, of course. Team are the same, cars the same, drivers are completely different. It's Sean Rahal, John Falb to take the wheel here. Alex Capardia, meanwhile, British driver, British team, very French car, very Japanese engine. International stuff in the European Le Mans Series.
154.2 we saw in free practice yesterday afternoon by this number 2 car, Falb and Rahal. They had an advantage of some 0.9 of a second over the rest of the field, which was the RLR Ligier yesterday afternoon, which was the quicker of the 2 free practice sessions that we have had so far here at Silverstone this weekend. Bit cooler this morning, only saw 155s or so. Already they are down towards Stowe Corner. New camera angle, never seen a camera mounted on that bridge on the Hanger Straight before in any form of motorsport here at Silverstone. Already coming out of Stowe down towards Vale. And then hard on the brakes into the left-hander. Lap time, as I mentioned, 54.2 we saw yesterday, 55 we saw this morning. That's the target for these guys. Already the 54 has gone 55.9. That is the gauntlet that has been thrown down by Rahal in the United Autosports car. Now the race is on to see who can get top of the pile.
And top of the pile already is not one of these 2 cars, it's the number 16 car of Simon Gachet. Alexander Cognac in the number 18 car goes through as well. All still in the 155s at the moment, these top cars. 1 or 2 of these drivers, by the way, misidentified. 4th quickest to Jan Urlacher in the number 19 YMR. Norma goes up into 4th position, just into the 156s there.
Here's another United Autosports car. This is the Patterson Boyd England car.
That'll be Wayne Boyd aboard that car at the moment,
as he accelerates out to try and beat that 155.1. Has he got a chance? 157.2. Needs to find 2 seconds there, 6 minutes in which to do it. Race is on.
So it's the number 18 from the 16, then the 9, and then the number 2. There's a Ligier 1, 2, 3, 4, but Jan Urlacher up into 5th, as we say, in the first of the Normas. This is the car. If you're watching the headlines from Monza, and a massive accident, but the team have put this car back together. Shows how strong these little LMP3 coupes are, and well done from Norma for supporting this effort.
Back with the RLR M Sport car. Currently in 9th position on 157.3.
I'm 99% certain that is not John Ferrano, as the timing screen says. That looks very much to me to be Alex Capardia's helmet. So Alex Capardia, I believe, aboard that car. Number 2, Sean Rahal, most certainly aboard that one, going quicker and going the quickest in the middle sector. Purple sector for Rahal, purple first sector, by the way, for Cognac, who's already in the other of the.
Rahal does it.
He does. He's up into the 54s. First man under 155, Sean Rahal. The Alex Capardia car goes briefly 3rd, drops back down to 4th. Simon Gachet in the Palas Barthez Ligier also into the 154s, 154.751. Sean Rahal, though, will lose one of those lap times. That's track limits, turn 7 exit. Not the lap time we've just seen, I don't think. It's his earlier lap time he's going to lose.
Takes a while for the stewards to look at the footage. Meanwhile, a little bit of a 4-wheel drift as he came out of that last corner. Here is the AT Racing car going to the top of the pile.
Yes, it does.
Yes, does, by half a second. Half a second. That's a lot.
Was very, very quick in Monza. In the earlier sessions, the World of Tanks liveried AT Racing car. This is a team, Toby, stepping up from GTE last year to LMP3. It is Ligier, looked after by the AF Corsa team, in amongst their fleet of Spirit of Race Ferraris. I have to say, very attractively liveried Ligier, black and orange. So it's Jensen for Boyd, Rahal, Gachet, Cognac. Then it's Alex Capardia, Jan Urlacher down into 7th in the lead of the 2 Normas now.
Meanwhile, quick glimpse on board there with the 360 Racing Ligier as we're back on board with him. Maggots, Beckett. This is where endurance racing cars really hold their own. To stand on the entry on the outside of the circuit to Maggots when the cars come through, came here the last few years as just watching, and I always go out there. It is out of this world to see the cars rattling through there. What it must be like to be on board with them is just another world. LMP3 cars they may be, but these are still quick vehicles.
Ross Kaiser aboard this 360 racing car, multiple Radical champion, master of those little cars, as a number of these guys are, and stepping up to LMP3.
You can just see on the left-hand side, Graham, a bit of the delta time, and he was underneath. So he is in 8th position as we speak.
Meantime, an improvement from Sean Rahal to 2 cars now under 154. Jensen, and that's way wide. That's a bit of track limits and then some. Yep. 28 thousandths of a second currently separate first and second here. Number 9 from the number 2. And so it's the number 9, that's the AT racing car, from the number 2 United Autosports car.
Now this is a replay from on board a moment ago, going wide through Copse Corner and getting on the radio. You don't want to go that wide when you're in 4th gear. You can see the gear shift just on the middle of the steering wheel, down from 5th to 4th, 3rd to 2nd as he tips it into the left-hander. Through Club Corner, it opens out, get that last apex, and as he barrels into view, another lap completed. 2 minutes remaining. Jensen still quickest with the number 9, from Rahal second, just 600ths of a second between the first and the second place cars.
Moment here. Oh, that's a spin for Jan Urlacher. He's the nephew of Ivan Muller and the son of ex-racing driver Kathy Muller.
Something in the middle of the racetrack just after the bridge on the Hanger Straight, and it didn't look as if it was very lightweight because it didn't blow away as one of the cars came past it. Hope that won't be a problem in these last 80 seconds.
Marginal improvement for the provisional pole sitting number 9 car.
Have we got a change of pole position?
You do.
We've got a change, we have. So Rahal takes that pole position back as he just came over the line. He goes out of view. We come back on with the RLR Motorsport car. That is our new pole position man. Sean Rahal in the number 2 United Autosports car on the pole position now by 900ths of a second. Still nothing in it.
It's really tight. We'll have a look here at that is Sean Rahal. He almost backed it in, didn't he, there? Fabulous stuff for the number 2 United Autosports car. There is indeed some debris on the track there, Toby. You're spot on as the ultimate car, the number 17 car, comes through. So 30 seconds to go. 2 from 9, 3, 16 and 18 are the top 5. It is a Ligier top 5 at the moment.
Here you have your number 17 car, the all-French lineup, currently in 9th position. The ultimate Ligier, Le Heriot. He comes out of the final corner and he improves 2 positions up to 7th place, 1.5 seconds back. Wide, hit the bump, lost the downforce. And, well, that's why there's tarmac runoff area there as the flag comes out.
So there will be no improvement very clearly for the number 17 car, but that was just a little bit over-ambitious. So with the clock having timed out, we wait and see who can improve on this final flying lap. Giorgio Mondini comes home in 8th position with an improved time in the number 11 Euro International car. See again, that was, I think, very ambitious.
Mildly optimistic.
Hope for gravitational pull.
But hey, you've got a banker, you've done your best time, and now on the last lap, maybe just give it a go. This is another replay. This is a number 5 car getting onto the marbles, the Bi-Speed factory car getting onto the marbles, realising that the turn-in was not going to happen. But again, getting away with it. Over the line comes the pole position car.
So Sean Rahal will improve no more. Can anybody else, though, do anything about some very quick times? Well, Jensen not given this one up yet. He's gone quicker than he's gone before in the 2nd sector. There is hope yet for the number 9 car here. Keep an eye on this. The gaps are tiny at the top of this timing scoring screen. Simon Gachet improves to 4th in the number 16 Panis Barthez car. Edges the 18 and 15 cars further down. Improvements up and down this. Get with such short qualifying session. Sean Rahal comes through. No improvements for Sean Rahal.
So then, Jensen's just taken that pole position now in the number 9 car. So there it is. There's your pole position car. Just come over the line. blitzing the rest of them out of the way. So Rahal and the United Autosports team losing their pole position as the AT Racing squad. Jensen takes the pole position, and a super job by Mikkel. Super job. It was on the ragged edge. You saw him drifting the car into the corners. You saw him chucking it about. He had his banker. He had something under his belt, and then he could lean on it and see what he could get out of the lap. And he's put it on pole by 0.12 of a second.
So Mikkel Jensen, one of the quickest in pre-season testing, and he will, I think, form a pretty good partnership with the Talkanitsa father and son, senior and junior. With this new addition, the AT Racing car to the LMP3 lineup, family day by the look of it.
Certainly is. Well, it's pretty close at the top, you know, less than 1 second covering the first 4 of these LMP3 cars for our European Le Mans series. Then the next 4 cars, that's 5, 6, 7 and 8th, are covered by 0.4 of a second.
And just right at the end of that session, Jan Urlacher, after that spin, did improve the Norma up to 6th position overall in the standings at the moment, because all of the LMP3s, by the way, have finished that session quicker than all of the GTEs. that's nice and neat, but that's good news for the Norma squad after trying times at Monza to come back with a very competitive lap time, a 1:55.179, 1.5 seconds separates the top 6 and the fastest Norma from the fastest of the Ligiers.
So a quick break in between the sessions as we see the LMP3 cars disappearing back into their garages. We'll catch up with Mikkel Jensen very soon. Charlie George will be rushing off to find the AT Racing garage. Here we have confirmation of it. AT Racing on the pole position by just over 1/10 of a second ahead of the 2 United Autosports cars. The Barthez competition car 4th, and then the 2 YMR cars 5th and 6th. RLR, we saw quite a bit of that car during the session, in 7th. Euro International in 8th. 360 and Ultimates. And as Graham said, all of the LMP3s ahead of the GTE cars. The slowest of the LMP3s, only 1 second quicker than the quickest GTE.
Yeah, and there's time to come from some of these cars. Some of these guys, some of the drivers, still unlocking the potential of the LMP3 package. It's cold. We've not done a lot of cold weather testing for the teams that are kind of new to this package as well. But 1:53.665 from Mikkel Jensen, very good indeed.
Okay, let's now catch up with our pole position man.
Yeah, I'm here with Mikkel Jensen. A fantastic qualifying for the team, because of course this is the first time stepping up to LMP3 from GT for AT Racing.
Yeah, it's been a difficult weekend so far because we had problems with the car in the practice. I had only a run with full fuel and used tires, as we didn't manage to get a qualifying practice. So it was really difficult. I used some laps in the qualifying to find the right braking points, but I made it in the end, and I'm really happy with that. The team did a great job, and I think the car worked really well now compared to the practice.
Good luck in the race.
Thank you.
There's a factory of fast Danish endurance racers, isn't there, Graham?
I think the Lord Tom Christensen can be thanked for that. There are so many quick young Danes, and Mikkel Jensen just the latest of them, and we're going to be seeing, I think, a lot more young stars appearing in this LMP3 class. There's a bit of a kind of a cottage industry in just finding the right talent who's actually at the right stage of their career to exploit every little angle they can in the regulations to get the best combination. We've seen new talent. We're about to see some very, very new cars, Toby.
Yeah, and going on from the talents, whilst we've got a moment, Graham, you know, there's a lot more drivers nowadays who are in their late teens and early 20s who say, I'm really not interested in being a Formula One driver. I want to be an endurance driver. I want to go to Le Mans and I want to win Le Mans. And that was never said 10 years ago. No. It was said by a few, don't get me wrong, but not as many as today. And that's how strong endurance racing is across the board, whether or not we're European, World, Asia, IMSA. It's fantastic.
It is, and you know, he's a great example, Mikkel Jensen, as we watch the number 21 Dragon Speed car coming off the jacks. Mikkel Jensen, 2014 ADEC Formula Masters champion, so that's a part of the single-seater ladder. He's clearly looking for one thing and one thing only, that's a career path. And that's what you'll hear time and time again from guys in this paddock, in the WEC paddock. They're looking to be a professional racing driver. And the next step up the ladder for Mikkel Jensen
15 seconds,
might be
under
here.
15.
As for the first time this season, we hear the dulcet tones
10,
of Vlado Freitas.
9, 8,
Countdown
7,
before
6,
the start
5,
of our
4,
session.
3,
Little
2,
kick-off.
1.
About
Pit
now.
exit is green for the LMP2 session.
Okay, so everyone's got a smile on their face.
Nick Manassian there, sporting director now of Dragon Speed Racing. Nico Lapierre not on qualifying duties for the 21 crew, so that will presumably mean we're going to see Ben Hanley out in the number 21 Orica, but Nico Lapierre, great example of what can be done with a career ladder. He's obviously got almost full season here in the LMS. He has the Sigmatech Alpine drive in the WEC, and will race at Spa and at the Le Mans 24 Hours, back where he belongs, many would believe, at the Toyota Gazoo racing team in LMP1, with a chance of taking the overall win to go with the last 2 years where he's taken the LMP2 title.
Absolutely, and a man who has won 6 World Endurance Championship races outright. Yes, it's great to see him back in an LMP1 car. In the meantime, we've got our European Le Mans Series LMP2 cars. We're going to be getting quicker and quicker. Last year, here at Silverstone, in the damp conditions, it was pole position taken by the Thierry TDS Racing Orica. They've moved on into World Endurance Championship racing on the world scene, but you can see immediately, visibly quicker, the Tocqueville Motorsports car. Who have we got in this car?
It will be Nigel Moore.
Nigel Moore, McLaren BRDC Autosport Young Driver of the World year finalist in a previous life.
Formula Palmer Audi champion.
Formula Palmer Audi champion. Took a bit of a break from motorsport, back in motorsport, and don't these cars sound good?
Oh. It's 12 of these LMP2 cars, a mixture of Dallara, this Ligier, the Ligier chassis plus the Oricas, 600 horsepower for this normally aspirated 4.2 litre V8. That means just this part of the grid, over 4,300 horsepower on tap from these cars. Fabulous, fabulous sounding pure race engines. And Nigel Moore finding the limits of grip around the Silverstone circuit in the number 34 Tocqueville Motorsport car. This is the reigning champion LMP3 team from Asia last year. Tocqueville Motorsport, based in Yorkshire, went out to Asia in search of the next step up the ladder for Nigel Moore and for Phil Hansen.
Okay, down the Hanger Straight, lights ablaze, but you can see, is it me or you can see, Graham, the fact that it's bumpy with these endurance cars over a Formula One car? Is it a bigger flaw? Is it porpoising? Is it what? It just seems to look as if they're
heavier. The first things first,
yeah,
they're heavier.
true.
900 kilos for the LMP2 cars. The other thing is, when you look at this thing, it's got more physical bodywork to watch. You're not watching suspension elements move, you're watching the actual bodywork move. There's not a lot of suspension playing these things. It is something of a bumpy ride, even on a billiard smooth piece of tarmac, because it's looking for every opportunity to use every single ounce of the downforce that these cars possess. So this is the Ligier.
We should be looking at an early 144 and maybe even getting into the 143s come the end of this session, which already is 3 and a bit minutes in.
151 is the best so far. That's Romeo Hirakawa, Toyota factory reserve driver, the number 22 car, the other Dragon Speed car. This is the G-Drive liveried Orica, but quicker again, number 23. That's the first now of the Ligiers at the top, Nat Beton, ex-GP2 racer. Another of those men who's looking for sports cars to be part of his career path. Goes through to 148.421, the first representative time.
quick lap we got here going on from Roda in the Ligier, number 25, coming into the last section, hard on the brakes into Vale, gets it turned in. Does the back want to follow? It didn't look like it for a moment as he comes, it gives it a bit of a wiggle. Here we got a potential pole position, and we've got the G-Drive car off already, and that's not going to be a slow accident. He's on the exit of Beckett, he goes in, he has a slapper, and he goes one way then the other, and he's lucky to get away with that. My goodness me, a floor could have been damaged at the drop of a hat.
And that car stayed on the ground. That was the best news there. The car stayed on the ground. There's been a lot of work with the aerodynamics going sideways. Meantime, though, Toby, to the top, all-time and scoring, Andrea Roda in the Algarve Pro number 25 Ligier, 145.
Oh, we've got another one off Graham. Oh, so
that's the 40 Graf Racing car. Now, who's aboard that car?
Richard.
I would have thought that'd be Richard Bradley.
That is Richard. You can see by the crash helmet. That's very unusual. Exactly the same place.
Is there some fuel? Is there some fluid down there? Because that's two cars have snapped in more or less exactly the same place.
That's a Le Mans winner there.
That is.
He doesn't make mistakes.
Not like
as
that.
Easily as that.
That's
and two cars within 30 seconds. Red flag. Red flag. They've stopped the section.
Down. He was looking down at the floor of the car. I'm sure he's absolutely okay. But that was two cars as the 22 car comes past us on the start-finish straight. So what happened there? Well, it'll be a red flag because the car's in the gravel and will need assistance. But for two cars to go off in more or less the same place does tend to make you wonder.
And you don't want a third because then it could be absolutely. It could be like Monza. So with the accident that happened pre-season in the testing, so yeah.
So Richard Bradley, by the way.
What's gone down there?
Well, let's keep an eye on that. Richard Bradley, by the way, therefore could potentially be in some trouble. If he needs recovery, he will not be allowed to rejoin that session. So he sits at the moment down in 26th position.
Right, here we go, back to back.
There.
The G-Drive, he's leaning on it. Did it bottom out? You don't bottom out on a rear left through there, do you?
I don't think it's two Oricas. It's two Oricas. They're both the same kind of car, and it happened in almost very different incidents, but at the same part of the track. So we'll see. So red flag it is. The clock's frozen at 5 minutes and 13 seconds. Richard Bradley, we can see, standing there shaking his head by the marshal's post on the left of your screen.
He's driven everything, Richard. I mean, he even drove a pre-war Aston Martin Ulster in a VSCC race the other month. Now let's have another look at Bradley. It had already gone round. He's on the brakes, and those tyres are going to be in a mess, aren't they?
Yeah, well, the rear broke away from Richard. Now, you know, we're putting two and two together and trying to make four. It may very well be something close to 16. What do I mean by that? It may very well, but it was two completely unrelated incidents, and they're just leaning on the car in a place where it just simply wouldn't stick.
And now but he'd done a lap. He'd done a 1:57, so it's not as if it was his first flying lap.
But it certainly wasn't a lap up to ultimate speed.
No,
it was
true.
him basically getting some warmth in the tyres. He's going to get back aboard the number 40 Orica. New colours for Graf, by the way, on this car. And there are two cars, by the way. When you see the 39, more traditional Graf tricolour liveried car for the 39, the 14 very different. There's the other car that we saw in trouble, the number 22. This is the G-Drive Racing by Dragon Speed car. And that was Rio Hirakawa, wasn't it, who'd actually set a very quick time at the start of the session, 1:51.017.
Let's have another look. Have another look, Graham. Look, it gets going on the curbs.
He did.
And then he actually just had a slapper.
He did. The car got away from him at the rear, and he couldn't hold that through. It was trying to get the steering input on and then off again, and it wouldn't. 2 into 1 wouldn't go there, would it?
And yes, I know they had free practice this morning. Yes, I know they had free practice here yesterday, and it was 9 and 11 degrees respectively. But it was 21 degrees in Monza, where they could lean on the car.
Absolutely.
But these are very clever racing drivers. They know it's cooler and colder, and the grip isn't there.
It won't be making him any happier to see his teammate Ben Hanley, the 21 car at the end of the pit road, waiting to go again. Dunlop tyre technicians and the team looking to see whether or not the tyres have been flat spotted on that number 22 car. We'll keep an eye on that as they take a look to see if there's any other reason. I'm guessing that's what they're looking for. Is there any debris? Is there anything there that might have actually contributed to both of those incidents? Because be assured, the marshals on that post will have noted that happened in more or less the same place, and will be looking to see whether or not there's any cause and effect.
Well, Freitas did it immediately and threw a red flag. Now, this is a big circuit here, 3.6 miles, and we've only got 5 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. An outlap is not a full lap, remember, because they're over at the original pits, so it'll take them, pick a figure, 60 seconds to start the lap, not 2 minutes 30, 2 minutes 20 or so. So, yeah, it's still going to be a very, very manic 5 minutes.
It most certainly is. Now, the other part of interest here is that it's Andrea Pizzitola, by the way, or it might be, not Andrea Roda, aboard the currently professional pole position sitting Algarve Pro car. Another Asian Le Mans Series champion, by the way, the 25 team from Algarve Pro. So Andrea Pizzitola, a Nissan factory driver indeed, Pizzitola aboard that car. A quick young man indeed as they get the car out from the gravel and hope to get the car away. That's a car on Dunlops, as most of the cars are, 10 of them are, but the second place car, the number 23 Panis Bartes car, is not. That's one of the Michelin shod cars, just 2 of them in the field in LMP2, the other one being the number 28 Edex Sport car. So Richard, I think they're going to try and get that car away and under its own steam. Great now. I don't believe he's going to be allowed to rejoin that session. We'll see.
Very odd. Very odd.
So I'm sure
going to try and get the stones out of it. He's clever enough to stay off line.
Well done, Richard.
Well done. Look at them pouring out from behind that front wheel arch, rattling down that brand new paintwork. It'll be all pockmarked and gravel rashed as if it's done a stage through Kielder. But the car's okay. Look at the aerodynamics of that vehicle when you're absolutely dead square on with it. The sides are so low. The top of the car, even though it looks tall, is so low. They're actually quite narrow.
They're tiny cars.
Yeah.
You see them next to a GT car or a road car. They're tiny, tiny cars. And the thing that with these cars, a lot of the focus has got into the additional power these cars have got. Session will restart the short call, and that will be, I'm sure, when Richard pulls into the pit lane. Don't imagine for a moment, as he goes through past us, of course, he passed us to the other pit lane, so he's got another third of a lap to go before he gets to the sanctuary of the pit lane. But don't imagine for a moment these cars have been idle, these engineers have been idle in terms of the aerodynamics. That's one of the new Dolares, that's the Racing Team Nederland car. Jan Lammers is the named driver here, and we'll see Rubens Barrichello in that car for the Le Mans 24 Hours. But that car just looks like a little LMP1, doesn't it?
It does. There you can see the gravel pouring out of the side of Richard Bradley's car after he'd been into the gravel. Great shovels of the stuff pouring out. Well, you pay for that down the builders' merchants, and it's all been spread around Silverstone for all the wrong reasons for free, isn't it? Goodness me. Right then, this session will be back underway in a few moments' time. Quickest, let's remind ourselves at the moment, is Pizzitola in the number 25 Ligier. That's the Algarve Pro Racing car, the blue and silver, very sort of KCMG looking car, if I can say that, please, Graham. Foily, sort of reflective silver coloured car. There is the number 21 Orica. That is the Dragon Speed car, Hedman, Lapierre and Hanley. And we've got a green flag. So we need to get moving, gentlemen. We need to not lose a single second. And anybody who can get ahead and have a clear view of this Silverstone circuit, they need and they will be doing that as soon as they can. It's a 10-minute session normally, and it's fast and it's furious, and now we're down to 5 minutes.
Oh, indeed, and we've only got 3 of the P2 cars at the moment ahead of the P3 horde, if you like. Andrea Pizzitola then it is at the moment, with just about 4.5 minutes left to go for the Algarve Pro 25 Ligier on provisional pole position with a 1:45.235. 23 is 3 seconds back from that mark. That's Nat Berton in the number 23. That's the Panis Bartes Ligier. So Ligier 1-2 at the moment. Then the first of the Oricas. That was the number 22 G-Drive Racing by Dragon Speed car that we saw the first car off at Beckett's. And then we get into the LMP3 cars before Ben Hanley appears 6th in the order at the moment, 2nd the Oricas and 2nd the Dragon Speed cars in the 21. Then 32 is Felipe Albuquerque. That is the United Autosports Ligier. So the Ligiers at the moment well up. The Dolares and the Oricas have not yet really shown their pace.
It's only half a lap, as we said, between their pits and the start of the lap, so there's not as much heat getting into the tyres. You know I'm a little bit biased, Graham, but I'm going to say it, ideal for a hill climber. No tyre warmers allowed in hill climbing. You've got to be right on it from the word go.
Didn't look to me like Stuart Cox and the team had any intention of sending that 25 car back out for what is now just 3.5 minutes left. So this will be 2 flying laps available to the cars out on this, well, the interrupted and already brief qualifying session. First one through. Here comes Ben Hanley.
Well, he's on a PB in the first sector. There's a start.
So there's Olivier Parnis there in the very fetching beanie hat. Ex-Monaco Grand Prix winner, of course, and now team principal at Parnis Barthez, co-owner with ex-French World
Look at
Cup.
that speed into there.
That one stuck. No problem there. So my guess is 2 completely different incidents. Fastest first sector of the session so far goes to Felipe Albuquerque, by the way. The 7th quickest only at the moment, but the United Autosports man in the Ligier, the 32 car, looking to improve. Ben Hanley's going quicker. Nat Berton is going quicker.
There is Albuquerque bouncing away.
But that was Berton, sorry.
Berton, sorry.
Berton, to 21. It did look to be porpoising very badly indeed, didn't it? That number 23 car. Here comes Hanley, the number 21.
Time ticking away. Look at the bottom of your screen. Takes the pole position with a Dragon Speed car by just under 0.2 of a second. Here comes the Panis car. Doesn't improve in time. Stays in 4th position. The United Autosports car a little bit further back. 144.3. Albuquerque takes the pole position.
And by a distance, 3/4 of a second to the good. Felipe Albuquerque, 144.314 in the 32 United Autosports Ligier Gibson. Then it's the 21 from Ben Hanley, the Orica number 21, 145.0. And within the same second, Andrea Pizzitola's previous best, which had been that provisional pole position before the red flag, stays 3rd.
There you have your pole position man on that pole by 3/4 of a second. There we were in the previous classes, Graham, talking about a bit here and a couple of hundredths there, and he's just driven it through just barn-doored it through, hasn't he?
Let's keep an eye on this, because some of these leading cars will have the opportunity to get this lap and another should they choose to do so. Hanley is going quicker than he's gone before, so it's Nigel Moore. He's up to 4th in the number 34 Top with Motorsports Ligier. That's another good run. Enzo Gibert in the number 39 Graf Racing car. He's 7th quickest at the moment, but also going quicker. So there are guys improving sector on sector here.
And yeah, and here we have on screen that Dragon Speed car improving, taking a nice wide line, popping and banging and spitting flame on the down change and on the overrun into the corner. Oh, it's going to look even better at night, isn't it? As they tip it in to that final corner. Dragon Speed car with that sort of very American kind of look to it. He's 2nd at the moment. Ben Hanley needs to do a 44.3 if he's going to get into the ballpark. He comes over the line, a 44.1. He takes the pole position by 1/4 of a second. So the pole position has moved, Graham, in the last 2.5 minutes by a full 1 second.
Completely right. 144.040 is the time for Ben Hanley. And Felipe Albuquerque has actually pitted, so he's bailed out of this. 12 seconds to go on the clock. Enzo Gibert goes 3rd in the number 39 Graf Racing Orica. That's that car there.
Back though with the pole position man. Sorry, Graham. He's on another quick lap as he goes down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands Corner. That very difficult left-hander into Luffield. Tight, never-ending right-hander goes on and on. Flag is out. Came out 30 seconds ago. It's being waved. And in fact, he's going to call it a day and say, I don't need to risk the car anymore. That's it. I think his pole position is safe.
And Ryo Hirakawa in the 2nd Dragon Speed Run car, the G-Drive car, goes 4th at the checkered flag. So it's an improvement for that car that had been off the track, remember, early in the session. And a couple of cars that didn't make it out for this second part of qualifying. We'll come to them in a few moments. Ben Hanley pits with provisional pole position in his pocket. Looks like that is done. Ben Hanley from Felipe Albuquerque, Enzo Gibert, then Ryo Hirakawa, and Andrea Pizzitola, who started the 25 car, didn't go out after the red flag, was on provisional pole position, and actually now is down in 5th position as we wait to see if anybody can improve on this last flying lap for the last couple of cars to complete it. I think the answer is they can't.
Can't see it happening. Still a couple of people to complete, but I can't see it happening. Happy boys, happy boys.
That's Elton Julian, the team principal of the Dragon Speed team, and then Nico Lapierre, teammate to Ben Hanley. He looks delighted, and Ben Hanley will be absolutely overjoyed with that. Toby, trusted with qualifying this time with the very handy tool, the multi-tool that is Nico Lapierre in your pocket. Great news for Dragon Speed. This bodes well for the season.
It certainly does. So a Swede, a Frenchman and a Brit will be starting from that pole position with the number 21 Dragon Speed car. Superb job. United Autosports following in their path. Look at that.
And on the right,
There's so much work behind the scenes, Graham. There's so much work. It's not just about engineering the car. It's about finding the budget, battling away, getting a sponsor to pay on time. They're late. You have to wait. You can't order the parts. You have to wait. You have to put the tyre people off. You have to not necessarily order that extra bit of carbon fibre in the wheels. And it's relentless, relentless. And there is the first step towards a great 2017 with pole position here at Silverstone.
yeah, left to right for a moment there. That's on the right-hand side, the one man we hadn't mentioned, Henrik Hedman. That is Jacques Nicolet to the left. That is the man that owns the Ligier concern. Philippe Albuquerque looks slightly perplexed by that. I think he thought he had that. And whether or not there was a call to come in, whatever it is, I'm sure we'll hear from pit lane later. But here comes Ben Hanley, pole position man. He will be absolutely delighted with that, and correctly so. Great run from the Englishman. Super, by the way, world-class karter as well. Congratulated by Henrik Hedman, car owner, crew chief. Now Nico Lapierre, then Elton Julian, the team principal, will be the next one that gets the man hug. Nico and Nick Manassian there too.
And a helmet that is nice and old school, a helmet that you can recognise as well. So there's another 100th of a second, surely in the lap time, Graham.
I think so. Mike Perry. I'm sure. I think Mike is actually Ben's manager and firm part of the endurance racing paddock. But Ben Hanley, another one of these success stories. We're going to be down with Charlie.
Yeah, I'm down here with Ben. Ben, it must be a fantastic feeling. Pole position at home at Silverstone, and the first one for the new generation of LMP2s.
Yeah, it's a great achievement by the whole team. You know, we've worked really hard for this. Last year was new for the team in P2, so we started all over again with a new car. So it's difficult, but it's great to get the pole position, and we can look forward to the race.
Best of luck with the race, Ben. Cheers.
Thanks very much.
Well, very quiet, very cool, but I'm sure the adrenaline is still pouring through his veins after taking pole position here at Silverstone for the opening rounds of the European Le Mans Series for 2017. Ben Hanley, a Brit on pole here at Silverstone by 0.27 of a second. United Autosports in second position. The rest of the runners and riders, all but two of the LMP2 cars, are ahead of the LMP3 cars. Richard Bradley, he put it in the gravel, unfortunately. Andrea Bellicchi, he also put it in the gravel, so they'll be starting 28th and 32nd respectively. Great for us as commentators tomorrow, Graham, to see them fight through the order from down there in 28th and 32nd respectively in a field of 35. But it's a lot of work for those two guys to do. Who's going to be your hot favourite for the weekend after the 4 hours of Silverstone tomorrow? Will the weather be good? Will it be dry? Might we have some changeable conditions? That is what early in season endurance racing is all about.
Huge entertainment underway. Wet track being shown just at the end of that session, so maybe that played a part. But quick cars, lots of new. We like lots of new, lots of speed, lots of endurance to come, and some real unanswered questions about these new cars, new teams, new drivers, new combinations, and I'm sure new fans for the European Le Mans Series to come in the stands here at Silverstone tomorrow, and what we hope is be slightly more sunshine.
We certainly do. There's some quick corners here at Silverstone. It's caught a couple of people out today, even some of the world's best. That is how difficult these cars are to drive. But at the end of the day, more French than that. Spa-Francorchamps, and then finishing the season in mid-October in Portugal at Portimao.